Good afternoon. This is 6 News Perth. Join us after the break where tonight we talk about how the budget and COVID-19 affects unemployment rates.
Yeah, you. I'm Travis Scott. This is my McDonald's order. Follow me. Here's my quarter pounder with lettuce, pickles, onions, ketchup, mustard, and bacon. Here's my fries. Sometimes I do this. Then I dip them into barbecue sauce. Oh yeah, and my Sprite. Same order since back in Houston, and you can try it too. Gotta go. The Travis Scott meal, just $6. Say Captain Jack.
Welcome back to 6 News Perth. Over to Elias, where he's going to talk about how COVID-19 affects unemployment.
Thanks, Shafin. To continue with that, the Australian unemployment rate has risen to its highest level since September 2015, with seasonally adjusted employment falling by 594,300 in April as the economic shock of the coronavirus pandemic ripped a swathe through the labour market. Scott Morrison told reporters in Canberra the job losses recorded to date were devastating, and he warned more would follow. The Prime Minister said the unemployment rate jumping a full percentage point in a month from 5.2% to 6.2% was terribly shocking, although not totally unexpected. The Australian Bureau of Statistics reports that between March and April, full-time employment decreased by 220,500 and part-time employment by 373,800, which is a period where government locked down non-essential businesses to slow the spread of COVID-19. Unemployment increased by 104,500 people to shockingly 823,300, and the measure of total hours worked fell by more than 9% between March and April. The underemployment rate increased by 4.9 points to 13.7%, and the underutilization rate increased by 5.9 points to 19.9%. Participation rate also decreased by an unprecedented 2.4 points to 63.5%. As Australians left the labour market, more women dropped out of their employment than men. The youth unemployment rate also jumped to 13.8%. The ABS says the indicator taken together shows that around 2.7 million people, or 1 in every 5 people employed in left employment or had their hours reduced between March and April. People on the JobKeeper payment are classified as employed in these measures, even if they are effectively stood down. So the real unemployment rate is significantly higher than 6.2%. Treasury is forecasting that unemployment will peak at 10%. More than 6 million people are in the JobKeeper wage subsidy, and more than 1 million are on unemployment benefits, known as job seekers, which has been effectively doubled during the crisis. The government says mutual obligation requirements have been suspended until the 1st of June. Shortly after the ABS unveiled the labour force numbers, the government signalled mutual obligations would be introduced in 3 stages, with penalties waived in the first instance. The Employment Minister, Mike Hillier-Cash, declined to say when the normal mutual obligation arrangements would be I'll send you to Johnny Goods and Mahan Rafay.
Thank you. Elias. Today we're in Northbridge, Perth, where we'll be interviewing an unemployed member of society. Hi sir, what's your name and how old are you?
My name is Johnny Goods. I'm 21.
Are you unemployed?
Yes, I'm unemployed.
What was your previous job before you got unemployed?
I worked at Carbake with Rio Tinto.
What was the reason that you actually got unemployed?
Because of COVID last year, March, they shut down all our jobs and I haven't been able to find jobs since.
How has this actually affected your lifestyle and your family?
Well, I've had to sell a lot of stuff on things like Gumtree. I've had to sell my car. I can't even buy resources for my kids. They have to get that from government too. So yeah, it's been really hard.
How have your friends and your co-workers been affected by this?
A lot of my mates, like around half of them, have been taken off. The ones that have been kept there are the higher, like more senior kind of guys. But yeah, it's been hard for all of them and their families.
How have you been coping with it, and do you know how your friends have been coping with it as well?
Well, it's really hard to cope with. I've been to see a therapist and well, I've had to ask a lot of mates and stuff. And yeah, we're in a bit of financial stress now, but hopefully we'll make it out.
Thank you, Mahan. You may be wondering, what is the budget and how does it affect unemployment? The budget is an annual financial statement that determines the amount of tax money being spent in a year and what it is being spent on. This year's budget is heavily directed towards helping people get jobs, as 35.6% of it is going to social security and welfare. What this means for the people is personal and business tax cuts, new training locations, and growth in infrastructure. The personal and business tax cuts leads to people being able to keep more of their money. This leads to higher expenditure and it helps stimulate the economy. New apprenticeships and training locations help us expand to a higher amount of people in the workforce, creating jobs and bringing down the unemployment rate. The growth in infrastructure goes hand in hand with job creation, once again adding money to the economy. In conclusion, this budget will help replace the jobs that were lost last year and help get our economy back on track.
We're safe and sound.